play was up. So I'm just gonna say I did that on purpose, so you'd follow me on Twitter. But jokes on me because he probably unfollowed me after sending me that message. But looks like the players are ready for game number 4, and it looks like Hyun finally gonna stick to a color he's been changing every single game, which is a big headache for me. Not really, but it's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to happen this game. Is it going to go for another 40-minute drawn-out Tier 2 map game from Hyun, or is it going to be into Tier
That
3?
game.
Yeah, it was not a fun game to cast.
It was
Hopefully,
interesting. I mean, if we just think about how the game progressed, I felt like Hyun just never felt safe to tech. I also feel like Vines, if he had attacked early on in that game when he had a bunch of Colossi and he just killed his opponent's army, he could have won the game straight up. Um, but Hyun fighting like a hero, going after his opponent's economy, doing what he could to try to get back into the game, and that's sometimes what you have to do in the game of StarCraft 2. No fault against him at all. Sometimes you have to play with a counterattack in mind, with a base trade in mind, just something to get back into the game. But let's go ahead and introduce players in the top right-hand location of Shakura's Plateau with the blue Zerg player Hyun representing Team TSL. His opponent in the top left-hand location, the yellow Protoss player representing Team OGS. It is Vines. Close by your positions on Shakura's Plateau. What do you think about this map, prOmise?
I think it's a good map for both races, honestly. I would say that it's a good 2-base timing map for Protoss, just because it can do a lot of damage when you do damage onto the third expansion for Zergs. But again, I think it's a good map for Zerg because it is fairly easy to take the third expansion, again, like most maps, as Daybreak is easy to take a third. But overall, I think it's a pretty balanced map for both races. I would think that maybe Vines will go for a similar 2-base timing. I still haven't seen the +2 blink off of 2-base. That's probably something that he's going to do in this next few games, hopefully. But Hyun, again, I'm curious to see what kind of composition he's going to go for again. Is he going to go for the heavy Roachling on 3-base, or is he going to go for a similar play which he did last game, which is Roach Hydra, which might actually win him the game depending on when he hits the timing. Before Colossus, after Colossus, it's all going to depend on the composition and the overall the timing for TSLHyun.
Yeah, it's a big mystery, but I'm a little bit, Hyun did choose this map, and he is going for a quick 3 bases. So at first I thought, okay, he's going to do some sort of 2-base Muta play to abuse the air distance between these two players and to abuse the amount of airspace where you can utilize those Mutas. But going to go for that quick expo at his 3rd base. Probably going to add another hatchery at his natural pretty soon here. Going to stay gasless for a while. So I think what his goal is going to be here is to deny his opponent's 3rd. That's the big issue on this map for the Protoss player, securing that 3rd base. Now, like the Protoss, sometimes they'll go for this pocket expansion that's right in front of your main base, but there's a lot of open space leading towards that. Another location that could be good potential is this 3rd base over here on the bottom left, that there's a ramp leading up to it, so it's easy to defend. But again, in between the natural and the 3rd, there's a lot of space to deal with, so you have to choose your engagements incredibly well. A lot of open space where a Zerg player can surround.
Okay, do you think this would be a good map for Stargate opening
Yes.
against Zerg?
Yes.
I completely agree. I was going to say that, which we haven't seen Vines do. It seems like he's been very heavy on his gateway play. The thing about the Stargate opening is when you open up Void Ray, you're able to do harassment onto the main, onto the natural, possibly delay the 3rd if Queens are not going to be able to reinforce there in time. And denying the 3rd is basically your goal that you want to do in the PvZ matchup. Once you have the Zerg denied from that 3rd expansion, you're able to go ahead, fall back, tech freely, or even just go for a 2-base all-in, because you're going to be that much more economically ahead over your opponent. And it looks like Hyun did establish that 3rd expansion. We see additional drones coming out. Queen is going to come out here at the 3rd as well. He doesn't have a queen in the main. Okay, he does have a queen in the main, excuse me. Going to drop down that creep tumor. Very, very important to connect your bases from the main to the natural with the creep tumors, of course. And look back in Vines' base. Looks like he's going to get the Cyber Core this time in his main base. Also, his natural has been established. No +1. So, is this going to be a Stargate, or is he going to go for the +1? That's the question here.
There's a Stargate, but it's at the bottom of the map. It's at the bottom of the map there. So, I'm wondering if he's going to add a second Stargate and just like double produce Void Rays. This is interesting because it's terrible for Vines because the lane got inside. And this lane is going to be alive for a while. It has been alive for a while here. It's definitely paid for itself already. Looking at the gases, okay, no gases there. He sees exactly everything that his opponent is doing, except for this proxy Stargate. So probably actually he probably is going to stay on one Stargate and just trying to surprise his opponent. Again, Hyun, he thinks he knows everything his opponent is doing right now. He's looked everywhere with that Zergling, didn't see anything scary, sees only 2 gases. Saw only 2 gases in the main base. Little does he know there's a Stargate at the bottom side of the map. So we'll have to see how much damage Vines can do here. And do you think he'll save up a couple Void Rays here and then attack, or just go with his first one?
I think he's going to go with the first Void Ray, possibly go for Zealot Void Ray pressure, maybe even follow it up with a Phoenix or 2, lift up Queens, do a little bit of damage onto the third, but it looks like Vines will move across right now with the Zealot and the Stalker, going to do a little bit of damage onto the third expansion here of Hyun. Queen almost going to go down, and what is Hyun going to follow it up with? He is throwing down a Roach Warren as well as an Evil Chamber, and oh my god, drone surround on the Stalker and the Zealot.
Wow.
Zealot and the Stalker go down, and there we go. We see the first Void Ray making across the map, and there is the second Phoenix.
Yeah, he was definitely going after that Queen there. If he gets that Queen, goodbye anti-air at the third. No anti-air whatsoever. But the Void Ray, or I guess the Stalker and the Zealot, not able to get that Queen dead. So really nice control there from Hyun. Void Ray coming over, going right next to the Watchtower, so it's not going to be as big of an impact as it could have been had he avoided the Watchtower. But a Phoenix coming forward as well, going to try to... Oh, actually, he does end up taking out the Queen. And going to start trying to focus down some drones here. But Sport Crawlers do finish, and that's going to spoil the fun there for Hyun at the same time. Ling's going up to that Stargate and going to take down that pylon and that Stargate because... he saw this at the Watchtower. He saw the Void Rays come from right there, so knows absolutely where the Stargate is, and he's going to take that out. And this isn't good at all for the prOmise player.
Yeah, Hyun doing a fantastic job of holding it off. A little bit overproducing spores here at the third. I think 3 spores, maybe 2 spores, and the Queen would have been enough. But again, he doesn't know if he's going to reinforce with more Void Rays or not. It's better to be safe than to be sorry. And a Hydroden again coming down from Hyun. It seems like he really favors this Roach Hydra composition against prOmise. And again, as I said earlier in the game, if he's going to be able to hit his timing before the Colossus transition is out for Vines, he will be able to do a lot of damage and possibly just straight up kill Vines. But Vines looks like he might go into, again, a similar Colossus tech. We do see the robotics facility is up, and there is the robotics space. So we're going to see a very similar opening to game number 3 from the prOmise and the Zerg player.
Where is the Hydrogen?
It is the third. It's the third.
Okay, that's a weird place to put it. Alright, so he did put it at the third. And yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm okay with this decision from Hyun. And putting down a Spire, so weird. Switching up so fast. Like, I'm trying to see how they're reacting. Okay, he did see... Okay, he did see the Robotics Bay go down. So might not invest too much in the Hydras. And might tech switch immediately. But a lot of mind games going on here. First of all... Vines opened Stargate. Hyun scattered it out. He knew exactly what was happening. When you open Stargate, your Robotech tree is going to be delayed. Your Colossus are going to be later. So there's a timing there where you can do a lot of damage with Hydras. However, Vines immediately getting that Robotics Bay as fast as humanly possible, chrono boosting out a Colossus. So that timing window, all of a sudden, it's gone. But again, Hyun saw this, so he's like, okay, he's going to get out really fast Colossi. I'm going to put down a Spire and maybe transition. But that being said, he's making Hydras. And it looks like he wants to, I don't know, maybe defensive Hydras, but he only has like 8 of them. So,
yeah,
and making drones behind this, so definitely thinking of transitioning here. So, very interesting play from both these players thus far.
What do you think about the Hydra and the Spire tech thrown down at the same time? Do you think it would have been better to go either one or the other? Or is it better to go into Hydras into... Because, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't see a lot of players go Hydras into Spire.
Yeah.
That's very, very rare. It's usually Roach into Muta.
Well, he was originally going to go for a heavy Hydra push, but then he scouted how fast the Robotics Bay was, and then he decided, okay, I can't do this anymore, and I'm going to transition out of it. So that's when he put down his Spire, and I guess he has Mutas on his mind. Has 1,000 gas, so can make 10 Mutas right now if he wanted to. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And more importantly, will Vines be prepared? The Colossi, 3 Stalkers in the field. Okay, he is getting blinked though, so nice. I guess he scouted the Spire. Yeah, he did scout the Spire, so that's exactly what's going on. Very cool play from Vines.
Okay, and it looks like Vines will establish the third behind this, and it is going to be that pocket expansion you were talking about earlier. Interesting decision there, but the thing that he does have for him is he does have the Zealot controlling the Watchtower. So he won't know if there's any kind of huge Roach Hydra coming at him into the third, so he's going to give himself that much more vision. And behind this, looks like Vines will take a 4th expansion, and 7 Mutalisks are on their way right now, and more drones coming out, and the double Spire.
Yep.
That's
He's going to be investing a bunch in Mutas. This is going to be Muta's Spire Crawler. That's what this game's going to be, because double Spire, you're prioritizing those upgrades. You want your Mutas to be really strong. Trying to take control of the Watchtower here are going to fail. Blink is almost done for Hyun, or for Vines, I should say, so the Mutas shouldn't give too much trouble. Still has those Phoenixes on the field as well, so that'll help. But we'll have to see how many mutas Hyun can pump out here and how much damage he can do to the economy of his opponent.
And it looks like the Mutas are going to make their way here into the main base of Vines. Will take out one Phoenix, almost takes a second out. And behind this, yeah, it looks like there's a bunch of Spine Crawlers going down here in the center of the map, which is going to be used for defensive purposes against any kind of counterattacks. And more Mutas coming out, 7 additional Mutas coming out here for Vines, for Hyun, excuse me. And Hyun has a supply lead, 150 to 125 of Vines. But again, look at the tech switch Vine is going for. He's going to go ahead and throw down at Templar Archives, where he's going to be able to transition into Storm, which is going to be very, very beneficial against these very high Muta counts.
Yeah, that's like it's like the age-old question: how do you deal with mass mutas, especially on this map here? There's only one attack path really down the middle of the map. If the Zerg, oh, nice blink there. Oh no, the muta's running above the stalkers. Got to be careful with those mutas. But there's really only one main attack path through the middle, and if you can just clog it up with spine crawlers, the prOmise player can't really engage that unless he outranges with the Colossi. No, but in the meantime, of course, Hyun just gonna attack anytime Vines tries to be aggressive. Hyun just gonna counter with the mutas. So I love the Storm decision here. I guess that's the second best thing behind I guess the extended range Phoenixes. But of course, that's a lot of investment. So I'm not too surprised to see Vines, not going for that. So I'm completely okay with this High Templar choice. Gonna do wonders, provided he can place the storms correctly.
Yeah, and I like the way Vines is moving across the map, but there is a problem. He's completely on the other side. He does have Blink, but he's not going to be able to Blink at all to reinforce. There's so many Mutas on the map right now for Hyun. 20 Mutalisks making their way again into the main. That Phoenix is finally going to go down, and Hyun doing a little bit more economic damage than he really should. Vines completely caught out of position. He does have a decent amount of armies. A decent army, excuse me, in the natural, in the third, as well as in the main, really trying to defend against his mutas, buying himself as much time to get his storm tech research, and then possibly go for a push, or maybe even continuing to camp, taking the fourth, which he is doing now at the 12 o'clock expansion. And yeah, Hyun trying to get as much damage in as possible, just not getting the best angles against Vines.
A lot of links come to the middle of the map here from Hyun. Gonna be stopped by this army from Vines, who's in perfect position. Someone's going to try to run by, but there's an Immoral and a bunch of Stalkers there to prevent that. So Hyun unable to do the economic damage he needs to do here. And this is going to get tricky because he's going to be on 4 bases. His opponent's going to be on 4 bases. And getting that 5th base is going to be the tough thing to do for the Zerg player. So right now, going to try to prevent that 4th from going down. If he can do that, he's going to be in a great situation. But Vines is not going to make it easy.
Absolutely, there's a lot of Mutas and Lings on the map though. It looks like he's going to follow it up with an Infestation Pit. There might be an engagement. Guardian Shield goes up. Vines knows that he can crush that army fairly easily, so Hyun pulls back and moving into 2 directions with his Mutas and the Lings. Maybe going to try to get us around. I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to do that, but a Ling counterattack. Going to go into the main. Beautiful warp in with the Zealot. Will wall it off. Lings are not going to get there in time. They might get in, but again, not going to do so much. And the Mutas going into the 4th. Oh my god, there's actually way too many Mutas here. I don't know if he's going to actually be able to keep that 4th up. It's going to be forced to cancel. Wow. Hyun doing a little bit of a comeback right now with his Muta and Ling and Hydra play, ironically.
That's exactly what he needed to have happen there. Take down that 4th. But the Mutas need to be careful. Oh no, the Stalker's doing so much damage. Hyun, please don't engage there. The Muta's getting so low in health, losing a lot of them at the same time. There were some decent storms in there as well. Peppering some of those Mutas into the red and orange health. But he did take down the 4th of his opponent, so that's good. But lost a lot of Mutas there, so that's not so good. And now he has to start thinking about, okay, where do I take my 5th? Both 5ths are towards your opponent, so I'm really interested to see how Hyun progresses from here. And we see Vines going for Warp Prism as Hyun goes for that Hive.
Do you think that Hyun's been, overly relying on this Muta tech? Do you think he maybe needs to tech into Hive, which he's just doing right now, just as I say that? Do you think Broodlords, Ultras, what kind of composition is best to follow it up here with the Mutas?
Broodlords are actually pretty darn good on this map. Oh yeah. No, great storms there from Vines. Again, doing a decent amount of damage to those Mutas. Nice reaction time. Another storm going down, melting away so many of those Lings, but the 4th does get denied. At what cost though? Losing so many Lings, so many of those Mutas. At what point does Vines see this and decide, okay, I've had enough, I'm going to go kill you? But yeah, to get to your question, Broodlord's very good on this map. I've seen players position Broodlords behind the mineral lines of your opponent, and if you're straying away from Stargate play, you can't do anything about it. So We'll have to see what Hyun ends up doing with this Hive tech. You know, I do expect it to be Broodlords, getting 11 Infestors as well. But again, prioritizing taking out that fourth. If he can keep his opponent on 6 gases while getting his economy up and running while going up to Hive tech, he's going to be in a great situation.
Yeah, I completely agree. It definitely seems like it's going to be Broodlord tech, even throwing down 9 additional Spine Crawlers right now. But Vines might have a little bit of a window. Is he going to go for a counterattack, or is he just going to make his map presence here at the creep of Hyun? And Production Tab shows 30 links coming out from Hyun. He does have a lot of Infestors on the map as well. And it looks like he's going to engage. Oh my god, beautiful Fungals coming out from Hyun, completely trapping all of these Blink Stalkers and the Colossus. Colossus is going to go down here very soon, hopefully. And Hyun actually, I don't know, getting nice Fungals, but does he have the right army? He does have a lot of links, getting a nice surround on all of these Stalkers. More Infestors are going to reinforce here. And nice move by Hyun, completely running over the army here of Vines.
Vines trying to counterattack with the War Prism at the bottom side of the map with all those Zealots, but they're not going to do too much damage. Take out one Spine Crawler. One Spine Crawler still alive. Muta's going to come forward and sweep that up. The War Prism will go down as well. So very nice engagement there from Hyun, taking down every single expensive unit from Vines. That's so important. At this point in the game, you're going to be starving with gas as a prOmise player. And if you lose all your Colossi, you're going to have to rebuild them. And you don't want to be spending all that gas on Colossi at this point in the game.
And it looks like there's going to be another counterattack here into the 4th at the 12 o'clock position with the Mutas and the Lings. Blinking forward is Vines, trying to protect his expansion for as long as possible, but Mutas are going to get a surround, and oh my god, Vines is actually in a lot of trouble. Infestors are even going to show up here to the party. Does he have any energy for Fungal? I don't think he has any energy yet. He did use the Fungals in the previous battle, but oh my god, Vines down to 112 supply, 127 for Hyun, but there's just so much damage being done right now to the 4th of Vines, and Vines needs to establish the 4th, needs to possibly find another tech choice, because Broodlords are going to be on the map here very soon.
Again, he lost all of his expensive units, and now he has to use all of his resources on trying to replenish those expensive units, those High Templars, those Colossi. They're not cheap at all, especially when you're only on 3 bases. The good news here for Vines, though, he's adding on a 4th base. He needs to start transitioning some probes over there to try to saturate that as fast as possible, which is exactly what he's going to do. But you said it, man. Broodlords are going to be out pretty soon here. 13 Corruptors on the way. Nice storm there from Vines. It's exactly what he needs to be able to deal with this competition from Hyun, but again, these Spine Crawlers peppering the middle of the map. How does Vines deal with that? Oh, Stargate on the way. I guess he has Mothership on his mind.
Hopefully he's going to tech into Mothership, because the problem here is all these Spines are up for Hyun. It's going to be so hard for Vines to move into the 4th or the 5th here to try to do damage, because that's just so many Spines, and plus the composition he's going for is going to be able to help out. But again, a little bit of a mistake here from Hyun, moving in with the Lings. Mutas are going to be in the back. Vines will be able to clean that up relatively quickly. Hyun pulls back. But again, man, Broodlords are going to come out here. 5 Broodlords are moving out, or morphing right now for Hyun. And no kind of Mothership out. He does have the Stargate down. Is he going to throw down a Fleet Beacon, or is he going to go maybe just Void Rays? This is interesting.
A lot of High Templars getting taken out there for free. You need those High Templars for those Archons, for the eventual Mothership Archon toilet play. The Stargate is done. No Fleet Beacon down just yet. I would expect it to go down any second now. There we go. Fleet Beacon just now being thrown down from Vine. So definitely thinking about targeting or getting that Mothership out. But the question here is he going to have time? Broodlord's already done. Hyun is about to get super aggressive, and you need time for that Mothership to get out. You need time for the Mothership to get the energy so it can actually be worth something. So we'll have to see what Vines decides to do to try to delay this push from coming forward.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see the battle going on here in the bottom. It looks like that expansion is going to get denied. Infestors are going to show up here, but it looks like another counterattack with the Lings. Hyun going to move here into the natural. And there just seems to be way too many units now for Hyun. 173 supply. Broodlords are looking to do a lot of damage against this Blink Stalker heavy army. And again, man, as you said it before, the Mothership is going to come out soon. There we go. Mothership just getting started for Vines. But the problem is it needs time to get the energy. And Hyun looks like he might just go for a counterattack if he has the right timing.
Yeah, it's looking really good. It's looking really good for Hyun here. The Mothership is only 20% of the way done. And then it has to get all its energy, and then you have to get a good vortex down and hope your opponent doesn't split up his Broodlords. But Hyun, he's going to push right now. I think he is approaching max. There's plenty of Broodlords on the field, getting upgrades, getting a lot of Lings down here as well. And Vines has to either counterattack or do something to stall this aggression from coming his way, because he is not prepared yet to deal with it. Killing his own Robotics Bay. Okay, I guess his Archons are too fat to fit through there, so I guess that's fine. I mean, Colossi at this point in the game, I'd rather have a bunch of Blink Stalkers than Archons, so I guess I'm okay with that. And Storm as well. But here we go, engagement going to happen here from Hyun. Broodlords throwing down their Broodlings all over this Protoss army. Infestors not doing their Funkos just yet, and Vine's actually getting a decent engagement here. It's hard to tell, though. I think Hyun should be fine with reinforcements.
Yeah, it does seem that Vines is going to try to engage here, and Vines losing a lot of units. These Archons are actually doing a significant amount of damage. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen when this battle started. The Archons doing actually more than they're really supposed to. But again, with the accompaniment of these Blink Stalkers, they're probably going to blink and be able to clean up these remaining Broodlords. And 95 supply, though, for Vines, 144 for Hyun. So you got to take into consideration, Income Tab does show a pretty nice advantage here for Hyun, 1900 to 1400. But again, counterattack into the fourth here of Vines. Mothership is out, so it is going to be revealed. But again, I don't know if Vines is going to have the right economy to really make that composition to be able to kill off this Broodlord army.
Wow, that engagement went incredibly well for Vines. Hyun mismicroing, mishandling that engagement. I mean, losing all those Broodlords, losing all those Infestors. He didn't have the ground army. Like, he had Lings and Mutas, but those died so fast to the Stalkers, the Archons, and the Colossi. You need to have a bunch of roaches there, or actually, like, be super money, I guess. Be super good with your fungal growths. But losing your Broodlords there, it's not good at all. You can't afford to trade Broodlords at this point in the game. But the good news is 6 more Broodlords in production, getting those 13 Hydras on the field as well. Again, trying to have something underneath those Broodlords to protect them from those Blink Stalkers. But again, now Vines has the Mothership out. Now he's going to have some Archons on the field. He's going to be able to do an Archon toilet if he so pleases. And that's when things are going to get scary. So it's actually a pretty darn close game here, prOmise.
Yeah, I completely agree. And again, production tab show Hyun's, I don't know, I feel like Hyun's playing this kind of like Brood War, just making Hydras, thinking that Hydras are good against Protoss, but they're not really so good this late into the game. I'm really curious in terms of his decision making to mix in Hydras this late into the game.
If you remember Vines, he killed his own robotics base, so not gonna have Colossi. His High Templar, he's turning him into Archons. So Storms may or may not be there. And yeah, look, he's turning all of his High Templars into Archons. So Hydras can be okay against a Zealot Archon Stalker composition, provided you have the Broodlords above them doing even more damage. Right now, though, the natural expansion, or the fourth base, I should say, from Vines at the 12 o'clock location, going to be taken out by these Broodlords. And now Vines, he's out of money. He's out of economy. Going to be trying to counterattack into what the Spine Colors. That's not going to work. And the more and more, the longer this game goes along, the more I think Hyun is in a great situation. I think Hyun is going to win this game. Call me crazy, but I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, he has a huge supply lead again, though. In the bottom right position, there was a lot of Zealots doing a little bit of harassment onto the economy of Hyun. They did take out several drones, but just look at the army of Hyun. It looks like a Vortex is going to go down, but GG gets called. Vines knows Hyun's economy is just much more superior to his. And game 4 is going to go to TSLHyun, and we're tied up 2-2 in this best of 7 series. And this is looking really good.
Wow, what an exciting series, what an exciting game. Just really good play from both of those players. Gosh. Vines
that was a lot more from the cast in the previous game, I'll say that.
Vines had like such good reactions from everything Hyun was doing, but it just came down to Hyun being able to protect his side of the map with all those Spine Crawlers, getting those Broodlords out on the field, and then killing the fourth of his opponent. That was a death blow. Like, when you lose your fourth that late in the game, in PvZ, it's not good at all. But we'll talk about it more after this quick commercial break, guys. Don't go anywhere. This is Tuesday Night Show Matches. My name is Axel. I am joined by prOmise. We'll have game number 5 coming up after this break.